Hello, and welcome to another edition of NCI Live. We are talking today about Microsoft 365 updates. Joining me today is John Ryan. John is a technical solutions specialist here at Network Center. How you doing today, John?
Hey, good.
Good. Thanks for joining us today.
No
I
problem.
wanted to remind everybody that is watching us, we are live, and we're going to be talking about Microsoft 365 updates, which is both John and I is one of our favorite topics. We love the Microsoft platforms, especially 365. So if you'd like to participate in our conversation or ask questions, we are live on both YouTube and LinkedIn. So feel free to message us your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them on the air. So, John, what's new? How you doing?
Hey, good. Slightly upset about the snow, but we had to get it sooner or later. So
Yeah, it's gonna
I
happen.
guess ready for it now. So
Yeah, that's all
we've had
right.
a soft fall.
Yeah, we'll take it as it comes, right?
Yep.
Well, very cool. Well, let's get right into it. I'm gonna ask you. I know we had Microsoft Ignite, big their annual. Both they do it both in person and online. Their conference, and they introduce a ton of stuff. But I'm sure you'll talk about a lot of that. Why don't you kind of lead us into it? Tell us what's
Yeah,
new.
I think I also want to call out too. We just had our Envision conference, and we had a lot of interest, a lot of questions from customers
Yeah.
to learn more about 365 and the Microsoft space. So I think it's a good lead into this update for those that want to learn more about it. They are releasing a ton of stuff, so we're gonna probably fire through this pretty quick. We'll try to talk about as much as we can, but we might kind of breeze over a couple of things that we'll maybe talk about a little bit more fully next time. So, but to get us going, if you guys haven't already, you should be on the new Teams layout. There was the toggle in the top left that allows you to flip back and forth between the old version and the new version. If you're not on the new Teams layout, it's now generally available for everyone, so you don't have to be on the pilot or anything like that. And some of the new features are just not available in the old layout. So in order to get full advantage of the stuff we're going to talk about today, you'll probably want to be on that new Teams layout.
I will add that it is one of the biggest complaints that we've gotten in general when implementing Teams is that it's slow to load, and it's kind of a memory hog. The new Teams was designed specifically from the ground up to be much faster, much easier to load, and this is going to be the platform that they're going to be used going forward. Right now,
the searching, all of that stuff, the tools, they all load way faster. I've noticed that too.
I've noticed that there's a few, it's a lot of times it's with third-party apps that there are problems because they haven't switched over their code base to the new stuff. But by and large, the functions that you use, the 90% of the functions you use every day, the meetings, the calendaring, the chat, all of those things that you use on a regular basis will be fully functional in the new version of Teams. As a matter of fact, they may be augmented depending on what feature it is.
Yeah, and I would also put a little asterisk next to this. Some of the features that we talk about may not be currently involved or included in your version of 365. So some of that is going to be license dependent, and that we can get into further. After this, if you have more questions about some of the features individually, we can address those on what licensing that you're on currently. We don't want to make a bunch of assumptions. We just want to talk about the tools. So,
with
that, we'll get right into it. Microsoft Teams obviously is one of the biggest things. It's kind of the center focus of the entire platform of 365. So We have a lot to talk about with Microsoft Teams updates, and then we'll get into some of the kind of ancillary applications and everything. And then we'll get into some of the stuff that was at Ignite and what they talked about and everything. But some of the stuff they did address at Ignite. Within Microsoft Teams, there's a couple of new things on the app experience, the OneDrive and the Meet app. So on the left side, the lower left side, if you hit the little plus to add an app, the OneDrive app will just give you access to all of your OneDrive experience right there from the Teams portal. So they want to make it as easy as possible, and what better to do than to pull in, probably one of the things that a lot of people use a lot is their OneDrive, to be able to have access directly to that without having to log into the portal or go to your desktop or any of that kind of stuff. So accessing that from Teams is going to be a big deal. The Meet app. So this is actually a really cool thing. It's basically a interface, almost like a home page for all of your meetings. And if you install the app, you can just click right into it, and you can manage all of your previous or upcoming meetings all in one dashboard. So definitely a cool. It'll have all of your recordings, everything that happened involved with or related to all of your meetings.
And to be clear, this one is on the new version.
Correct.
This one here
Yep.
is not available on the old on the legacy. We're going to call it the legacy version.
Right. The first one, the OneDrive, you can see just on the text on the screen that it's available in both classic and new Teams. So.
Yep. One thing too on the Meet app, that's been a major thorn in my side is being able to go back and look at. So I'm on my personal license here at the office. Is I have the Teams Premium, and I can do the AI recaps of all the meetings and get all the statistics and everything about a meeting. But finding them is often difficult because I have to go back through and search for the meeting, which is fine. You can great. You can find anything and it'll find everything related to it. But it would be nice, and this is exactly meant to address that. It'd be nice to find those recaps in one place. So I love it.
Yeah, it always kind of seemed like all that stuff was just magically out there for you to find or to search for. Now it's in a nice little interface. So Microsoft Teams, this is the more on the calling side. You can now get a private line, which is for inbound calls, but you can hand out a separate private line number for people to call in. When using, so it's a direct call number. So instead of just having a number assigned through the switchboard or through the incoming call center, this is basically allows you to give out a direct line for people to call in, kind of separate from any kind of call tree or anything that they would have to go through and hit an extension. So
right. It's so that you can have two numbers that are
associated to you. Yep.
Right, that are associated with you. Typically in the past, you've only been able to have one number and that was your number, period, full stop. Now you can have one that's more public, that's in the directory if you want, and another one that's like, look, this is my direct number and it bypasses all the other stuff and you're good.
Yeah, and and previously it would still roll over. So if you were on a call and you received another call, it would still ring and you could see that somebody else was calling. So you still had kind of the rollover lines, but they weren't lines that you could share out or have as a secondary line. Now your outbound is still going to go out from your primary line, but your inbound, you can have this secondary line for it. The other part is shared calling. So a lot of you probably have wondered this in the past, but if I got to buy a calling plan for each individual user, what if I have a user that uses a lot of time or a user who doesn't use much of the calling minutes? Is there a way to have shared calling so that you can put multiple people on a single plan? And now they're supporting that to have a group of users use the same plan to get more out of your calling. And that's kind of a big deal for everybody's monthly payments, especially if you're going from traditional PBX where you're paying per line. A lot of people assume that when you go to Teams calling or IP calling, that you're saving money on your local phone bill. This will allow you to really see some of the savings on the calls. So
one function that I always like to equate this to is in the old, I call it the old days, the key-based systems where you'd say Bob is on line 1, right? That function has not moved forward in any voice over IP system because it's just, you don't do that anymore. Now all the brains and logic are built into the system. But this is more from a licensing standpoint, and you could have 5 users, 5 people, but they're just generic. They're either that or they're a location. They're something that needs a direct phone number, but that's shared by all 5 of those people. Right? It doesn't matter who gets it. It doesn't matter, this is not like queuing or anything. They basically share the minutes, they share the phone number across multiple people. The problem is they share the minutes, they share the phone number. So there's no way of differentiating who the people are. But there are use cases for it.
yeah, and I wonder if maybe not using this or using this for like general located phones, something in the break room, something up at the front desk. It would probably be a good feature for that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
All right. So moving on to other Teams updates, they have a thing called Co-Organizer. So if you are going to do a Teams call or a webinar, they refer to a lot of things as webinars. We would call them just like Teams meetings. But you can have co-organizers that basically have the same type of permissions that you have that can do everything similar to an organizer. So instead of just being a person with presenter rights, you now have co-organizer rights. And this is a recent thing. Along those same lines, you do have a together mode, which this is more for the Teams channels and being able to see different people that are participants in the channel and being able to share content as kind of an owner of that channel as opposed to just having single owners for Teams channels. One of the things that we talked about previously was town hall meetings, the one-to-many town hall meetings. That is fully available now for everyone, so that's not on preview anymore, and that's very helpful for a lot of company meetings, just kind of town halls, I guess. It's become a term to be able to do questions and answers type of one-to-many setups. The portrait blur, this feature helps your cameras focus on you. I don't know if you've ever had that where you've been in a meeting and you're kind of bobbing and weaving your head around to try to get into focus because it's looking at a plant behind you or something. But this will actually help the camera focus. Everybody has different cameras on their machines. So it's kind of a way for teams to kind of help focus on the person that's speaking. So. The People app. So this is actually kind of a cool thing. You can now sync people from different parts of your life, I guess, mainly within your Outlook contacts into your 365 apps and devices. It is a dashboard, sort of like that Meet dashboard that you can manage people who you want to add to let's say outside contacts or even inside contacts that aren't synced, maybe a partner channel, something like that. But it allows you to kind of set up, sort, filter, how you want to contact these people, whether they're inside or outside of your organization. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility as far as managing your contacts right within Teams. And this is a app, so this would be down in that lower left, that plus, and adding the People app. Teams channels now supports up to 1,000 channels without running out of space for channels. So
Big,
that was
big one there. Big one.
Yeah,
there.
that was a big one. A lot of people are starting to use Teams for projects, and projects can total up pretty fast. But now they're supporting up to 1,000 channels. So hopefully that pushes it out for a little while. I'm sure as people grow into it and use more, that number will rise, and they'll push it out, to a higher number in the future. So publish recordings directly into Teams to share with attendees after the event. You don't have to wait to get an email anymore that has a link to it. You can actually just publish the recordings directly with end users. So as you're talking, if you've recorded something, you can turn this on and it'll basically send it out to the Teams through the Teams chat to all the people who've attended it, to allow them to access the recording themselves, as opposed to in the past you've had to copy that and email it out to attendees and everything. So this is a setting that you can turn on or off. Video clip message. So you can do video clip messages, which is basically just a video message that you can share through a chat to a coworker. And you can now blur out the background. You couldn't do that before. So if you don't want people to see where you're sitting, or if you just don't want the distractions of people walking by behind you, you can blur that out. You can also record your screen. So you can actually use it for, hey, I'm trying to do this. This is the error and this is how it pops up. So a little bit extra use there to help with troubleshooting something possibly, or showing somebody how to log in. Not really intended for screen sharing as far as, like IT troubleshooting, but something that you could record and send over.
I've used that. It's actually, it's one way. So you can actually do just send somebody, it's a little more personal than doing just a quick little chat, and allows you to do the extra communication, more than just a quick little chat, but it's also more personal. And you can use it's like, hey, yeah, you can show them what you're trying to do and then say, get back to me when you can.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you for just 1 second, John,
Sure.
and remind everybody that we are live. If you are watching, you have any questions about these updates of, what's been going on, there are a ton of updates. Microsoft is daily releasing stuff. We are trying to summarize maybe the top ones that you're interested in, the ones that apply to most people. But there are literally, probably in the last couple months, there have been over 1,000 updates to various products that Microsoft has released. And I'm talking feature updates, not just patches and other things. So we've just kind of highlighted the top ones. So with
Yeah,
that,
and I think a lot of these tools have existed. Teams, Purview, Defender. So there's maybe not necessarily a lot of new individual, parts coming out or applications coming out, but there's a lot of tweaks and changes, and they're getting feedback from end users and pushing more into the content of them. So it's very exciting. Every time I look, there's a giant list. So
exactly. All right. What else you got? A lot of team stuff this
so
time.
Still in the Teams. So animated backgrounds and video calls. This is cool. I saw this on one of David's meetings that he joined us with, and you could see little twinkly lights behind him and things moving, clouds moving, and everything. So, so that's definitely a cool thing to kind of add a little bit more to the. They're always trying to get people to use video and trying to give you customizations that kind of personalize you. So animated backgrounds is a new thing. Compact mode, I found this actually while I was clicking around, but basically you have two ways to look at your chat list. You can do it in compact mode, which will show all of your chats stacked on top of each other, or the normal mode that we're probably all familiar with, where you see the list of people who you've chatted with on the left side, and then it just brings up the chat in the main window when you click on it. The cool part about that is you can actually right click on, if you're in the compact mode, and it will allow you to reply right there. So you can throw out just a emoji or anything without having to open up that full chat message. So
very nice.
The video clip message. Oh, actually, this is a couple of remnants from my previous slide. The screen sharing, zoom in and zoom out during meetings. So that actually is a really cool thing that we didn't have before. But basically, as you're sharing your desktop or you're sharing any kind of PowerPoint or anything like that, you can actually zoom in and zoom out kind of at will. So if you are highlighting a section of your presentation, the zoom in and zoom out allows you to zoom in quick, look at something like, let's say, I'm notorious for putting too much text on my slides and not enough little pictures. So if I did have a little picture and it showed something specific, it would allow me to zoom into that piece and then zoom back out. So
Nice, nice.
all right, so done with the Teams piece of it, and we're now moving on to a couple of other kind of ancillary applications. Remember Outlook for Windows that we talked about last time? That's the Windows mail version of Outlook that you can use from your desktop. They have this, actually, it's a really cool option. It's called Follow, and hopefully they get it in the regular Outlook. But you don't have to just accept, decline, or do tentative on a meeting. You can actually follow a meeting instead. So if you have a lot of meetings and you still want to get the updates from the meetings, you can click on follow and that'll allow you to see changes. Maybe they moved the time of it and now you can attend. It keeps you engaged with the meetings that are being had. This is not available for regular desktop Outlook. This is just available for Outlook for Windows. I'm guessing because of the kind of live integration with the Outlook for Windows with Exchange. But hopefully sooner or later this gets actually put into the regular Outlook
I want to add
application.
something
So
to this feature that's really cool, and the one that gets with follow, meeting follow, if you have the premium SKU. And what's probably the most useful function is, like, you'll get, if you follow the meeting, you'll get, a transcript of the meeting, right? You might get the meeting recording, maybe saying, hey, the meeting was done. But if you get right now, the medium, Teams premium SKU, it will give you the summary and here are the points at any time your name was mentioned. So things that, like, hey, this is the useful stuff you need to know about this meeting. So rather than attending a 2-hour meeting, at the end, you just go, here's the summary of the meeting. Here's what you need to know and what you need to do automatically without having to go through a 20-page transcript of the meeting.
yep, and we all know that the people that get the takeaways or the assignments from a meeting is the person who's not there. So
who never attends. Yep. You don't attend, you don't get to say no.
yep, right.
Yep.
All right, so here is some of the stuff from Microsoft Ignite. This year it was all about the AI. So they basically went through a bunch of the back end, probably a little too deep for this kind of a presentation. But basically Microsoft is leading the industry in AI, not only in the learning piece of it and the back-end infrastructure, but both in the safety piece of it too, safety and responsible use. They actually have I guess a statement of how they're following best practices for that. The big thing is you got to be careful when you're starting to use AI stuff, especially with your own data, that you're not leaking that or sharing stuff that you're not supposed to be sharing. So they're building more and more options to make it secure.
They have a framework
Yeah.
for AI that's been designed around security and governance and compliance, where a lot of other places don't, or you have to build it yourself.
Right. So I guess for the developers and everything out there, the Azure machine learning, they have a lot of stuff out there with prompt flow, model cataloging. They have model as a service, API integration. So they're doing kind of like they do with Dynamics or SQL. They're opening it up for other people to develop applications that use it as part of the engine. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that. I'm not going to go through all of it specifically, but the content safety, they actually have, there's a portion of Azure AI is actually designated to content safety. So it'll actually go through and help you organize your data to make sure that some of it's not, exposed, or just to make sure that it's more secure. One of the other cool things, a couple of things actually, the image analysis 4.0, that's pretty cool because it makes for more accurate OCR reading. So if you are looking for something, it'll look at both the typed and the handwritten texts and images. So that does open that catalog up. If you remember some of the AI stuff that came out with like ChatGPT and everything at the beginning had a pretty limited catalog. Now that they're building out these technologies, it's expanding that catalog to allow you to get more content. The DALL-E, or it reminds me of the movie WALL-E, but the DALL-E 3 creates images from text descriptions. So now you can type in and just say, this is what I'm thinking about. Create basically an image based on this, and it'll source parts of the internet and smash it together into an image for you. Now you can get some pretty comical things depending upon what you're typing up, but if you are looking for something specific and you want to know if there's any kind of like illustration out there that you can use to help with that, this is the engine that helps find those or create them. Video to text summary. So that's another AI piece of it. So if you you can use AI to actually extract text out of a video. So if somebody, it's not a Teams meeting. Teams meeting, that's, its own technology to, to capture that text. But you can actually use AI now to pull it out of another video from somewhere else. Video content search, vector search support. This is all kind of nerdy stuff, but the big thing as far as AI goes was CoPilot. And this is actually still only available for EA customers, so enterprise agreements. It will be, I think, first quarter, probably, maybe end of first quarter will be available for everyone else, but they are putting a lot into this. The entire Microsoft Fabric is being used with Azure OpenAI services to basically allow you to access your own data and use that through CoPilot. And if you're unfamiliar with what CoPilot is, but CoPilot is kind of your assistant, your AI assistant to help you create content. And you can, it's available pretty much everywhere in Teams, in Dynamics, all over
Outlook.
the
Yeah.
Outlook, all
Word,
over
PowerPoint, Excel,
all over the Microsoft, 365 environment everywhere. And basically what it is it's going to source public, and you can open it up to source your own data. Now with that, you have to be careful with what it has access to. So we'll do a closer dive on this when it is more closer to full release, because it'll probably change a little bit prior to that. But that was a big part of Ignite.
Yeah, you can expect we'll do a NCI live on CoPilot. You can expect that. We did some information on it at our Envision conference, and talked quite a bit about it. But you can definitely expect an NCI live episode just on CoPilot.
Yeah, and I think along with that, if we don't do one on Purview on its own, that'll be also tied into that, because Purview is a way that you set up that structure to restrict the access to your data that you don't want people to see. David gave a good example of, with CoPilot, you could say, show me all of everybody's wages in our company, starting from the highest to the lowest. And if CoPilot has access to that data, it'll put it together for you. So that's where using Purview to do some of that data governance can help secure that data. It's also part of the protection to make sure that other people can't see it as well. So That's a important piece, but very big and very much in development. They're releasing purview stuff every single day. So
Yeah. It's been around for quite some time. It's just
right.
understanding that now that framework is in place for people to do that. It's just designing with governance in mind, and people have not traditionally, they've thought of it, but they've traditionally not gotten their arms around data. And you can ask anyone. I've been a big proponent of keeping your getting your arms around your data and knowing what you have, tagging it, classifying it, and then having a go forward strategy for what you're going to be doing with it. So, absolutely. You
So
got
that's all we
anything
have
else
time
for
for
us, Jim?
today. Nope.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, there's so much more in there that we could discuss, but some of this stuff that is pre-release, and so we're trying to cover the stuff that's available now or will be available in this fourth quarter. But there's a lot of stuff that's slated to come out even beginning of next year. So we'll have plenty more to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I thank you for these updates. That's it's incredible as always what's happened. Definitely can be seeing more shortly in the future. For those of you that's joining us, I appreciate you coming by and spending time with us. If you missed anything or you'd like to contact us, you can please do so at our website at www.netcenter.net. You can email us at info@netcenter.net or follow us on any of our social media channels. You can also join us here every 2 weeks uh, when we go live on either LinkedIn or YouTube, which we do every 2 weeks at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you do follow us on YouTube, please like and subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you are notified when we do go live. Um, John, again, thank you for joining us here today, and we hope to see you again for the next set of Microsoft updates and the all the exciting things to come. So
Yep. We'll
appreciate it.
see you in a few months.
All right. Thank you very much. And to everyone joining us, thanks again for joining us today on NCI Live.